What's up, everybody? Welcome to the special edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show. On a usual basis, I'm coming at you at least 3 times a week, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday over the digital airwaves of YouTube. But this is a special edition because I'm beyond thrilled to share a conversation taped earlier with my next guest. She is an Emmy Award-winning talk show host, a journalist, and a best-selling author who is out with a new book called Watch Where They Hide, the second novel in her crime fiction series. Please enjoy my conversation with the one and only Tamron Hall. Welcome back to the Stephen A. Smith Show. I'm usually beyond thrilled to be speaking with today's guest. She's not only an Emmy Award-winning television journalist, but also a best-selling author who's about to release her next book, Watch Where They Hide, the second novel in her crime fiction series. Before I welcome her to this show, because I love her dearly, I have to pretend that I don't, because she just blitzed me and beat up me and my family on Family Feud. I'm talking about the one and only Tamron Hall. Hello, what's up, girl? How you doing? How's everything?
Hey, Bessie.
Oh my goodness. I mean, you've been. It's already. I got to tell you something right now. You've been rubbing it in for a while on me. You're rubbing it in. You got love from my family. My sister's showing you more love than me. They ain't been here in my studio, but they've been in yours. You just got it going on, Tamron Hall. You just got it going on right now.
Listen, first of all, congratulations on everything. Speaking of somebody who's always got it going on. But yes, I mean, you don't often lose, but you did lose on Family Feud. And yes, it is true. Your family did show up to hang out with me. They've known you a lifetime, met me once, and now I'm practically a sister.
Yeah, that's exactly how they treat you. Oh, Tamron, we watch Tamron every day. Oh, we love her. I mean, Steve, we sorry, we love you, but bro, I mean, she's part of the family now. She's part of the family. Listen, we can talk about that a little bit later, but this book, Watch Where They Hide, this is the second installment, your second novel in the crime fiction series. Talk to me about it, what inspired this, obviously. Talk in detail. Why'd you do this now?
Yeah, you know what? It's a crime series. The character's Jordan Manning. She's named after Michael Jordan, Peyton Manning. I think one night I fell asleep listening to one of your many jobs and got inspired by the name. But she's a true crime reporter. She lives in Chicago. And what we see is a young woman who is driven by her career, but driven by justice. And in this latest installment, a woman goes missing and her family members beg Jordan for help. And we see Jordan put herself in these dangerous situations with the idea of what is justice, and when people don't receive justice, how does she step in to get it? But more than also really a crime drama, Stephen, it is also about love and wanting at 30-something years old to find the perfect man, but being pulled by her career. It's also about friendship. We find Jordan now the bridesmaid at her friend's wedding, but she doesn't have a date, and she's torn about showing up to another event without someone next to her at her side. So it's a crime thriller. It's also just a juicy storyline about this woman that you root for, that you get mad at, but you would want, if you got in trouble, you'd want Jordan Manning on the line.
How similar is this character to yourself?
That's an interesting one, because when I set out to create her, she was inspired by my career. You know, I did a show called Deadline Crime for 6 seasons where I covered some of the most talked about crimes in America. And so this case in particular that she's covering was inspired by a case I covered in Oklahoma where this young woman had been murdered, and the killer didn't know, the man who was convicted didn't know at the time she was pregnant. And I couldn't shake thinking about her. At the time, I was pregnant with my son, and I was in the audio booth, recording her story. And I thought to myself, there are people listening to, Baby Einstein and music and touching their belly. And I'm in an audio booth touching my belly, reading this real life horror story that this woman encountered. So the cases are inspired by cases I actually covered, that I was on the ground with, that I couldn't sleep, to be honest with you, after covering. But then there are other parts. She's 35. She's a lot more, a lot more bad A than I was, I think, at that age. I think I'm bad A now, but she was really then. Right. But she's also willing to go in places that I couldn't. As a journalist, this, we have a line that we toe behind, even people who have strong opinions about things like you and I.
Right.
But Jordan is putting herself in danger. When I finished this book, a couple of my friends said to me, that the last page they all screamed. Like they were like, what is going on in her crazy mind? Because it's a thriller. I wrote it in New York City, and it has a beat to it. It has an intensity to it that people who are into crime series, I take you partly inspired by my life, but also as a writer, you get to have these liberties and you get to create storylines that may not have happened to me, but I think I could handle them if I could, face some of those things.
What I marvel at about you, outside of your greatness as a reporter, as a talk show host, you've done so many wonderful things. You're an award-winning journalist as well. What I marvel about you is I know what you've been through. You've shared your story publicly, what happened with your sister in 2004, if I remember correctly, when she was murdered, and it was considered a domestic violence issue, if I remember correctly. I'm wondering, how difficult is it for you to venture into these projects? Even if it's writing a fiction, even if it's writing a novel, it's hosting the shows that you've hosted, bringing attention to the kind of things that have transpired that obviously touch near and dear to you. Is it, I don't want to use the word enjoyable, but is it cathartic to some degree? Is it something that you feel the need to do?
It is. That's why I even started this series, because I was looking for a way, honestly, to deal with some of the things, not only to your point that I experienced with the death of my sister, which is an unsolved crime, but I started out reporting in Dallas, Fort Worth. I went to Temple University and I studied, how to write. I studied law and ethics of reporting, but I found myself, one of my first stories, I'm at a parking lot and there had been a call of a robbery. Me and my camera guy got there before police. We got there before the ambulance, and I don't even know how that happened, but we arrive and there's a man on the ground, and I'd never seen a dead body, right? And you don't go to college, journalism doesn't teach you that, right? And so there I am, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is my job. I gotta now stand here. And with Jordan and Watch Where They Hide, I weave those real life experiences as a reporter that people don't know that I experience and that other crime reporters experience. But to the point of my sister, in this book, Jordan is begged for help by the loved one of this missing woman. And we don't know what's happened to her. We just know she's missing. And for me, that was inspired. I thought, of course, I'm thinking I'm Jordan, right? Jordan's inspired by but when I got done with the book, I realized that so much of what you read about the family, that was me, that was my family, that was my story. And so her sister, Shelly, is begging Jordan, I need your help. My sister is missing and I don't like her husband. And I think he did it. That was my feeling when my sister, the first phone call we received from the detective saying, we think we know who did it. And the crime was never solved. But I know that I was in my home in Chicago when I witnessed her attacked and felt helpless. So in this book, her family, the missing woman's family, becomes a vehicle for me to share so much more of what I was feeling in that time. So it is fiction, but I think the reason that I was able to write the first one and then write the second one, and now I'm already in the third, by the way, is that they're coming from a place. They're coming from, we're both people. We have cat-like reflexes to life. I like to say.
Yeah, right.
We do. Even though I don't have a cat, I have a dog and I have a bird, but I feel like I have cat-like reflexes to life. And that makes you a good interviewer, but it also makes you take things home. And you see in this book, Jordan has one of the scenes, she's got this red wine on the side of her bed and she's thinking about going out on this date with this guy, but she's got to be up early. And those are all things from my real life. You're wondering, can I love work and can I fall in love? And I wanted it to be true crime, but I wanted to take you into the world of this complicated woman who wants to get it right for other people.
But see, this is the thing, and this is why I was so looking forward to this interview, because I wanted to highlight and illuminate to the public out there why you should be applauded, because you have a courage that a lot of us don't have. I was covering crime, this, for the New York Daily News when I started out my career. The serial killer Joel Rifkin was talking about how he hid bodies in the woods near JFK, JFK Airport in Queens, New York. And I was the first reporter on the scene when they found the bodies. And I had to go and knock on doors for some of the relatives of the victims. And I said, I don't want any of this. and I ran away from it. Whereas somebody like you seems to be running towards it, and from a standpoint of everything that you're doing, it just seems to touch on your experience. It's like this unsolved murder that obviously involved your sister. So unfortunately, the bottom line is that it's almost as if you're not finished. You're still searching. Is that fair to say?
You know, in some ways, I'm searching for parts of peace, because I do believe that we know, right? We know who did it. And I've had people come to me and say, why don't you do her story? And it's not my story to tell. She has children. Her son was a guest on my show and had a very powerful episode of the Tamron Hall show where we talked about what it's like to lose your mother in this way. But for me, when you know who did it, that hasn't been my search for justice. It has been, honestly, using the platform that I have to help other women. I didn't tell my sister's story for a long time because I thought people would have that cynical view of here's another celebrity telling some problem that they have. And I had to shake that feeling, because so much of what we know, whether it's, you know, I remember covering the first story of people with eating disorders. Folks weren't talking about that, but then celebrities started to talk about it. Children who diagnosed with autism or on the spectrum. Holly Robinson Peete and her husband Rodney, they were on the forefront of that conversation, using their celebrity to help other people. And so when I started to talk about my sister's domestic violence and the things that happened, it wasn't to bring attention to myself. It was after I did an event in New York, and there were 15 and 16-year-old girls telling the most horrific stories you can imagine of being abused in middle school. Middle school. And we have a saying where I'm from, fair exchange, no robbery. And I'm at this event and I'm hearing them tell their stories, and I felt guilty not speaking up, saying, I was in a situation where I could not help my sister. I didn't know what to say. We thought tough love was the way. We thought saying, you know what, you don't need this guy. You don't need this person. You can do better by yourself was the solution. But I now know that that is not the solution. That is not the way to reach people. People want to feel heard. They don't want to feel told, you know, you must do this, because they're trying. And sometimes they're trying doesn't look like what we feel it should look like. But it doesn't mean they're not moving forward.
Right. You know, I got something to tell you here, because I'm looking at it, and your talk show has recorded over 800 episodes. I just want to throw some stuff by the audience here. Formerly a correspondent for NBC News, daytime anchor for MSNBC, and co-host of Today's Take. First black woman to co-anchor on the Today Show, by the way. Debuted your show, the Tamron Hall Show, in 2019, now in its 5th season. It won a Daytime Emmy, by the way. Won an Edward R. Murrow Award for your report on domestic abuse. I throw all of those numbers out there, and you want me to tell you the greatest compliment that I think I could throw your way? We could have an abundance of folks out there who can host a show, and you know what, maybe we could host a daytime show. But the first order of business is understanding you can't be Tamron Hall. You ain't gonna be her. Yes, I mean, get that out the way. I might do it a little well, but I'm not gonna be her, because this is some would say the modern day Oprah. Some people wouldn't bring up Oprah at all. They'll just say Tamron. All you gotta do is, you ain't even say Hall. Tamron. That's all you gotta say. Everybody know who you are. How does that feel right now, at this point in time in your career, when you can hear those kind of things about yourself based on your resume and the work and the effort that you put forth and what you've produced?
It's surreal. I mean, listen, I wish I had the swagger of Stephen A. Smith. I wish I would be like, yeah, I did that. I do. And it's not natural to me. Like, I'm definitely a fighter. I'm a Texas girl to my roots. You know, I am my friend's get out of jail card. If you call me at 2 a.m, I will be there at 2:01. But there are certain things about me. I think I'm probably a lot more shy. I think you would attest to that than people. My friends call me a social loner. You know, I rise up when I'm around people, but I'd much rather probably be at home watching TV. But I love being around people. I'm just thrilled. You know, I think we all know what it feels like to be an underdog in some capacity, right? I know we all know what it feels like not to be bet on. I mean, when people bring up the Today Show, they say, you were never mad. And I said, listen, sometimes people make their choice. Very few of us are the first choice of our significant other. I mean, they probably had somebody they loved in 2nd grade that they thought they were going to be with. Many of us, you know this, have lost jobs and and felt that. I remember when the first time I was at dodgeball and they didn't pick me, I'm like, wait, I'm fast. Really, you're not picking me?
Right.
What? You know, I think we all know, or when we have children, you know, they're playing basketball or soccer and they're not picked. You have either been skipped over or watched someone we care about be skipped over. And so for me, so much of my journey has been the bet on yourself. And that's probably the most confidence I have, right? When you say, you know, the awards, and I'm so honored to have them, but being able to bet on yourself, that's your power, no matter what you're doing in life. I don't care if you're launching a business, I don't care what it is. Betting on yourself is freedom. And I was allowed to find that freedom losing a job. And sometimes you got to lose to win. And so this is winning. I quite enjoy it.
That's right.
Loving it.
So do I.
And I only have one correction. You said one, Emmy. I won two.
You want? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say one. I know the two. I'm sorry. Well, damn it, I don't have none. I don't have any. You understand? I don't have any. That's what it is. Because damn it, I ain't Tamron. So that's just the way that it goes. Two Emmy Award, two-time Emmy Award winner. Having said all of that, as you reflect on your career, you reflect on that moment where you were doubted, you were let go, you wondered about where you were going to land in this business and what you would be able to accomplish. What advice do you have for folks out there? Because we see a lot of folks today, obstacles are automatic, they're coming, they're inevitable. Yet so many seem ill-prepared to deal with it, Tamron. I don't know why that is.
I think it's because people sometimes get consumed with looking at the roadblock and not the road. No matter who you are, there's a block, right? There's an adversity put because of race, because of gender, socioeconomic. You were born in the wrong neighborhood, in the wrong zip code. There are many, many things that make you at some point in your life the underdog. And if you look at the roadblock, you will never see the road. And I'm not saying that you can't process the challenges in life. You know, there are going to be challenges for anybody. But if you can get past looking at that challenge and saying, this is my road, this is my lane, I am going to ride it till the wheels fall off. That's the win. And that's why I don't, when people walk in my office and they say, well, how hard was this? Or how hard is it as a woman? Or how hard is it? I say, listen, there's a time for that conversation and I'm always up for that conversation. But the most important conversation is don't focus on the roadblock. Find your road and ride that road. It is unique to you. It is yours. When they say you have your own lane, we really do when we're born. You have your lane in this oversaturated content world that keeps your head spinning. But if you can slow down and find your lane, that's where the win is. That's the win.
Do you find yourself having an easier path towards having those conversations in today's day and age? Or is it harder than it was several years ago when you first started because of the times we're living in?
Well, listen, I'm 53. I'm going to be 54 in September.
That's right.
I have perspective now. You know, I think priorities change, right? I had priorities in my 20s. I had priorities in my 30s. That doesn't mean they were wrong. I mean, my priority in my 20s might have been, okay, how long can I stay at the club so I can get into work at 4 a.m.? I mean, our priorities are our priorities. But now I have perspective. And so when someone or something elevates to a 10, I don't respond at a 10. If it requires a 2, I respond at a 2. If it requires that 10, I will give you the full 10. But it's perspective. And I think that's the biggest thing right now is finding it, maybe not in your 50s, finding it before. To me, the swirl of the world and the noise, and I watch obviously everything you do, and I see you lately getting real peppery on here and giving some smackdowns that were well-deserved probably, yes. But you have great perspective. And I think that's a winning ticket. And I tell my nephew's 27, he works for the Buffalo Bills. He used to work for the Dallas Cowboys, and what a sinful decision he's made.
Oh, goodness, there you go. Go ahead. I'll get to your Cowboys in a second. I knew you'd slide it in there. Go ahead.
It's perspective, right? You know, it's not putting a 20 on a 10. It's not needing the last word, right? It's having the stronger word versus the last word. And those are the things I think help you break through the noise, because people will try to derail you with noise. They will try to distract you with noise. But if you keep the perspective of, they want me to give that 10, but I'm going to give you a 2. You know I'm capable of doing the 10, right, but I'm going to give you a 2. And that allows, that's what people say to me, how do you write 2 books, host a talk show, you have a son, you have this? I allow in my mind and in my heart only what is necessary.
The first book you wrote in this mystery series as The Wicked Watched. This is basically the sequel to that, Watch Where They Ride. Obviously, you're hosting a TV series, Someone They Knew. Let's not forget that, okay? Because obviously you've done an exceptional job with that. What are you enjoying most right now?
Oh gosh, you know what? I love cooking. I have a cookbook coming out very soon, and I love just chilling. My son Moses is 4. I love watching life through his eyes because we can get so jaded. You know, sometimes we went to the Harlem Globetrotters, right?
Okay.
And I remember when I went to the Harlem Globetrotters, my parents took me, and the head of the Globetrotters said, you know, these are memories. And I was like, that's so true. And then the next day we went to the Ringling Brother Barnum and Bailey Circus. And I remember when my Uncle Henry took me, you know, to the circus. It's a lot different now, but I'm in the business of collecting memories and holding on to them. That's what gives me peace. That's what I'm a person of faith, and I quite love my church and my faith. I do transcendental meditation. I work out a little bit, but not more than 20 minutes. But
why not? Why not, Tamron? Why are you limiting the workout to 20 minutes? Is it because you look so great that you don't have to?
No, it's because I'm not trying to play for any team. I'm good. I have 20 minutes. I meditate. I eat probably a burger every day. I have goals in the health department that I'm working on. I eat way too many burgers. All right. But my piece is memories. I love hanging out with my friends, as you know. I love laughing when I'm with you and your family, and we were just laughing. I enjoy that. I enjoy music. So for me, it's turning up the music, opening some wine, cooking, having my random friends over. My place is the best seat in the house.
Taryn, let me get a little personal. I hope the hubby don't get mad at me, but what do you cook? What's your favorite dish? I want to know what you can cook.
Oh, you know what? Wow, I can cook everything. That's why
everything.
I can cook anything you want. Listen, I can cook anything. My son's favorite thing is curry chicken and dumplings.
Okay, all right. You got a little West Indian in your family. He like curry chicken.
I love. I can cook. I'm really into. Gosh, that's a good question. I cook Indian. I cook Italian. I cook Chinese.
What's your favorite?
My favorite thing to do. I love barbecue. My grandfather was a pit master, so I can grill. My husband even says, he's like, okay, your grill game is good. I love grilling. I will get a brisket and I'll smoke it. I have a big smoker, and I'll smoke a brisket. And I love. I do a seafood boil, but on the grill. I actually borrowed that recipe from somebody, but I love grilling. It's my favorite thing. That's why I can't wait for the summer. I guess that's a Texas kid in me.
I don't know if you notice or not, but I dabble a little bit. I mean, I can make lasagna from scratch. I can make lasagna from scratch. I can't, Tamron. I can't. My sister said you hang out with my sisters. They'll tell you.
My birthday is September 16th. All I want for my birthday is a homemade. What do you use? What meat do you use?
I'm not telling you that, but it's beef. It's beef. But I do beef. I can do turkey. But I prefer beef.
No. I prefer beef. I prefer sausage. Now I went to school in Philly. I hung out in South Philly, so I need a real Italian lasagna.
Are you challenging me to make some lasagna for you?
Let's do it.
What's your birthday? What's your birthday again?
September 16th in season 6, thank you, of the Tamron Hall show. We'll start in September, and you come on the show. It's a cook-off.
You ain't no cook-off. I'm not trying to compete with you, but I do know how to make some lasagna. I can bring you the lasagna on your show.
September 16th, season 6 of the Tamron Hall show, Stephen A. Smith and his lasagna, and I will not lie, if your lasagna is trash, I'm going to talk as much trash as you do about everybody and everything.
If it's trash, you're just going to tell the world on me. But see, this is, and before I let you get on out of here, see, this is what you do, Tamron. This is what you do. I mean, like when you cheated with Family Feud, it was supposed to be my family against your family. But the Tamron family, what is it? The Tamron family?
Tam. We call my people the Tam fam.
The Tam fam.
Use that lightly. Fam.
They didn't say who. But wait a minute. But wait a minute. We didn't know you were going to have executive producers and research. You were loaded. You had ringers. Ringers.
Your sisters are smart. They are brilliant.
Well, one of them panicked. One of them did panic. One of my sisters did panic. She did. She did.
No, she did. She just told me she wanted me to win, and she just.
She said that. She said that to you. Oh my Lord. Before I let you, I'm gonna leave this interview right now. I'm gonna go get them later. Before I let you go, just get it out your system. I mean, I gotta take it. You're a Dallas Cowboy fan. Now, I will say this to show you what kind of friend I am. I could have rubbed it in. When Dallas choked, when they got blitzed by Green Bay, when they were down 48-16, I could have rubbed it in, Tamron, but I didn't do that. I didn't even bother you. I just tacitly sent condolences.
Listen, I almost blocked your number, but I have to tell you the only reason I don't block you is because you never know when you need a Stephen A. Smith in your life.
I understand. I understand.
The gift of the Cowboys is minor compared to the moguldom that is Stephen A. Smith. And like Jordan Manning, she's your get out of jail card if you're in trouble. Stephen A. Smith, if I ever need anything, he's my everyman.
I could mess with you. I could mess with you. Nobody else better not mess with you.
And I feel the same way because you don't know. Sometimes I log on and then I back up. I log on. I'm like, don't make me get in this room with y'all. Don't mess with my friends. So there you have it.
I am so proud of you. Thank you for coming on the show. Congratulations to everything. Your second book, Watch Where They Hide. I'm sorry. You've been absolutely fantastic. I'm looking forward to reading this. Keep doing your thing. All the great things. Tamron Hall show, 5th season. By September, it'll be the 6th season. Keep doing it. How many more years you planning on doing that?
Oh, boy.
I mean, Oprah did it for decades. What about you?
When I get my macadamia Hawaiian island like she did, then maybe I'll retire.
You know what? That's my sentiments exactly. That's my sentiment. Damn it, buy our own island. Then we know we made it.
There you have it.
Love you, girl. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming on the show. See you soon. The one and only Tamron Hall right here with Stephen A. on the Stephen A. Smith Show. She is fantastic. She is phenomenal. Watch Where They Hide. That's the sequel to As the Wicked Watched. You know, I mean, it's special. She's doing big things, no doubt about it. She certainly has my support. Make no mistake about that. More of the Stephen A. Smith Show coming right at you. I got a lot of stuff to get into. Don't go anywhere. Be back with more in a minute. My thanks to the wonderful Tamron Hall. Always a great conversation anytime I talk to her. Be sure to pick up a copy of her book, Watch Where They Hide, out March 12th. You can also catch the Tamron Hall Show daily. Check your local listings, please. Oh, by the way, you can definitely catch me. I'll be back at our regularly scheduled days, 3 times a week over the digital airways of YouTube right here on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Make sure you tune in. Make sure you watch. Appreciate the love and support. Keep it coming, and I'm going to keep on coming. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, this is Stephen A. signing off. Peace and love.